Welcome to The Explainer. For decades, digital success literally meant just one thing, right? Sitting right at the very top of a search engine results page. But what happens when that page just entirely disappears? Today, we are looking at a massive paradigm shift. Users are totally bypassing those traditional links, and they're just asking AI for the direct answers. So how do you even know if your brand is actually in that answer? Well, that is the entirely new frontier we're exploring today, the architecture of LLM rank tracking. Get ready because this is absolutely fascinating.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer. The LLM tracking era, defining LLM rank trackers, how the tracking works, the 4 key metrics, and traditional versus LLM trackers. We're keeping this fluff-free and narrowly focused on this specific tracking category today.
Section 1. The LLM tracking era, a paradigm shift. We are undergoing this fundamental shift right now, moving from search engine links to AI model answers. You see, for decades, the internet was basically a giant directory. You searched, you got a list of links, and you clipped the one you liked best. But large language models? They don't give you a list of links. Instead, they generate these conversational definitive answers. If someone asks an LLM, hey, what's the best CRM for a small business? It doesn't just hand them a directory, it gives them a direct recommendation. And if your brand isn't part of that generated answer, you are entirely invisible to that user. We literally have to rethink our approach entirely to track this new kind of visibility.
Section 2. Defining LLM rank trackers, what they are. An LLM rank tracker is defined as specialized tracking tools designed exclusively to measure, analyze, and quantify brand visibility and placement within the direct outputs of large language models. So the crucial point is that this is a completely new breed of software. This isn't just, slapping a shiny new dashboard onto some old SEO software. These tools are engineered from the ground up to interact directly with AI models, so you can figure out exactly when, where, and how your brand is being talked about by the AI itself.
There are 3 primary use cases to keep in mind here. First, measuring direct AI visibility. Literally, do you even show up? Second, tracking brand sentiment in AI outputs. So if you do show up, is the AI actually saying good things or bad things about you? And third, competitive analysis inside LLM ecosystems. Just ask yourself right now, how do you currently measure your brand against a competitor in ChatGPT or Claude? If someone asks an AI to compare your product to your biggest rivals, do you have any idea what the AI says? That is the exact use case these trackers solve.
Section 3. How the tracking works, the mechanics.
Let's pull back the curtain here. It really boils down to a 3-step closed-loop process. Step 1, the trackers use APIs to continuously ping the LLM with specific automated prompts that are highly relevant to your industry. Step 2, they analyze that generated conversational response the AI just spat out. And Step 3, they extract and score specific brand data and positioning. Notice what's completely missing here. There's absolutely zero talk of backlinks or keyword density. It is quite simply prompting an AI and analyzing its direct output.
Section 4. The 4 key metrics, measuring success. These trackers quantify your success across 4 core pillars: mentions, citations, visibility, and share of voice. These 4 metrics form the absolute meat, the dashboard of any true LLM tracking tool. Let's move to and see how this builds before we dissect them individually.
First up, we have mentions. This is the fundamental metric tracking whether or not your brand simply appears or is named within the LLM's generated response. Think of a mention as the absolute baseline for your very existence in an AI model's brain. It is a purely binary metric. Did the AI actually say your name when prompted about your industry? Yes or no? Because if you aren't getting mentioned, well, nothing else matters. You are quite literally left out of the entire conversation.
But then we level up to citations. This is a much higher value metric, where the LLM explicitly references or links to your brand as a source of truth for its answer. Contrast this directly with a simple mention. A mention just means you exist, right? But a citation, that means you are an authority. The AI isn't just casually dropping your name in a list, it's effectively telling the user, hey, I know this fact to be true because I learned it from this specific brand. Citations carry an immense amount of trust and authority within the AI's output, making tracking them incredibly valuable.
The third metric is visibility. Now, this metric paints the broader picture of your brand's overall footprint across hundreds of different interactions. It measures how prominently, favorably, and frequently your brand appears across a wide array of relevant AI prompts. So it's not just about one lucky prompt, it's about the aggregate picture. And crucially, it measures sentiment. If you are mentioned frequently but the context is super negative, well, your overall visibility score in an LLM tracker is going to take a hit to reflect that nuance.
Finally, we have share of voice, and this brilliantly illustrates how conversational real estate in an LLM is incredibly limited. The AI usually gives one cohesive answer, not pages and pages of endless results. That makes it a strict zero-sum game divided up among competitors. For example, if an AI generates a 200-word software recommendation and half of it just raves about brand A, well, brand A has a 50% share of voice for that specific prompt. If you're brand C sitting way down at 20%, you instantly know you have some serious ground to make up. LLM trackers visualize this exact competitive breakdown.
Section 5. Traditional versus LLM trackers. The showdown.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it shows exactly why traditional tools simply cannot do the job of an LLM tracker. Traditional tracking is incredibly rigid. It's over there tracking static positions and measuring those 10 blue links based purely on search volume. But LLM tracking, it is built for fluidity. It tracks conversational context, measures mentions and citations, and relies on prompt frequency. You just can't use a map to measure a conversation. The architectures are fundamentally technically different.
It really all comes down to one provocative question. If an LLM doesn't mention you, do you even exist? As users increasingly turn to conversational AI for answers, recommendations, and research, being left out of that output means being completely invisible to the end consumer. LLM rank trackers are the new standard to mathematically prove you are actually part of that conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and until next time, keep learning.